r/ask Reddit. What scares you as an adult but didn't when you were a child? Oh god. Everything. Missed opportunities. Developing bad habits. Falling behind in life. Health issues. Career issues. Relationship issues. Failing. Not enjoying life enough and conversely not being productive enough. Concerns for my wife and dogs. Social judgment. Still terrified of things that go bump in the night too, but I am better at putting on a brave face. Well said. I just lost my wife 2 weeks ago. 4-year battle with breast cancer. We were a team. Did everything together. Now I feel lost, scared, and lonely. So much I wished I had done. Said before she passed. Edit a few blogs. Haven't been updated in a while, but still a nice read. https://www.kiringbridge.org. Visit Eugene Purcell. https://www.chrisacancerlife.com. I feel you, my friend. I lost my wife to breast cancer 4 years ago after a 7-year fight. Stay strong. It does get better in time. I thought that advice was the biggest pile of bullshit I had ever heard, but it's true. Eventually you will start to feel whole again. Look after you. It is something she would want for you. Losing my teeth. Instead of getting $1 I have to pay a whole lot of dollars. r/show her thoughts. Put seal of approval on. Riding in a car with my mom. OMG, it's terrifying. I was terrified as a teen on this one. Surgery. I had a motorbike accident when I was 8 and had to undergo an operation on my head to take out the blood clots. From what I recall, I only remember a few hours before the surgery. My brain completely erased any memory of the accident. I was pretty chill when I was told my head was to be cut open. And when they wheeled me in to shave my head and administer anesthesia, I was chatting non-stop with my fun anesthetist while wondering why my mom and brother were weeping uncontrollably and my dad looked solemn. Now even a trip to the dentist scares me. I just had oral surgery on Monday and they administered anesthesia on me for it. 11 teeth in total including my wisdom teeth were extracted. I was nervous as hell. Have a phobia of dentists since I was younger due to a bad experience. Never needed full surgery before. So when I was wheeled into the operating room, I felt I was starting to have a panic attack. I couldn't stop thinking about how this was going to go and I never knew how cold they kept the operating rooms. I only remember after that the doctor asking if I was alright and that I said I was nervous. I guess they were already injecting the anesthesia into me during this time because next thing I know I am waking up 3 hours later in the recovery area. 11. Backstory PLSKTHX. Carnival rides. As a kid I assumed they were safe and only felt scary. I think when you're a kid you think every adult is competent and knows what they are doing. So you assume the rides are well maintained. When you're an adult you realize nobody knows what the duck they are doing. Holy shit. This is my exact attitude. Day in and day out at work I continually expect people to know what they are doing. And then I am always let down. The thought that one day my parents won't be alive anymore. You never really think about mortality when you're a kid. Now that I'm an adult, I'm realizing that my parents are getting older and I have to face the reality that one day I'm going to have continue living in a world where they aren't there, and that just breaks me. The older you get the scarier it gets. It's like mourning them before they pass. I am struggling with this as we speak. Very true. If you're not already in it, I recommend therapy. I'm currently in therapy right now for anxiety related issues, but it helps to talk with my therapist whenever I start to experience fear over the thought of losing my parents. Sometimes it helps to just cry it out. Bills. Medical bills specifically for me. I choked on a piece of steak and had to go to the OR for an upper endoscopy in August. I have received 4 separate bills for this procedure that I have no idea how I am going to pay. Just to clarify, I am considered middle class. Full-time 9-5 office job with full benefits. You probably have. But have you called the people billing you directly and verified the amounts? I just ask because earlier this year my husband tore his bicep. It rolled up into his arm and needed reattachment surgery. I have an HSA plan and luckily was able to cover the deductibles and charges right then and there. However, fast forward a couple of months and we started getting bills. One from the anesthesiologist for $1,300, and later one from the doc for a little over 4,000, saying the insurance didn't cover what they thought it did or something. I called the anesthesiologist, and they realized they had made a coding error and zeroed out the bill. So when the bill from the doc came, I called them. They said they had no idea why I said 4,000. It was only 600, which I am making payments on. Too long, didn't read. Call the offices and check before you send them any money. Getting old. The prospect of being adult is exciting when I was a kid. Now that adulthood is stressing me out. I wish I came back to the simpler times. There wasn't anything simple about being a kid for me. I'd like to go back to my mid-30s. Newly married, good job, good health, great body, whole life ahead of me, nice car, new house. I had it made in the shade. How squishy the human body is. When I was a kid, I'd do all kinds of dangerous shit. I'd climb trees, make rope swings over big drops, go sledding down hills that felt almost vertical at the time. There's a photo somewhere of me walking along the top of a brick wall that's a good 8 or 9 feet off the ground trying to get a football down off a roof. All I can think when I look at it is my god. If I'd taken one wrong step I could have ended up dead or in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. It's even worse now I'm older, because it's more likely to cause me permanent damage. But it genuinely didn't occur to me at the time how dangerous some of the things I did were. I know how important it is to let kids be kids. But I can't shake the idea that the slightest bump in the wrong place and your body can basically just shut down. Game over, man. Game over. Don't you remember being a kid and being so sure of your footing and everything though? You weighed way less. You probably had better reflexes. And your senses were probably stronger than they are now. Your parents would be all worried but you were just like, I got this. With complete confidence. Maybe it was our imaginations that we knew what we were doing. Yeah, I think about this a lot. I realized that I had hit a point in my low 20s where every injury had started to add up and to have a permanent lasting effect, and it made me why the hell more cautious. Where I used to love flying down a hill on a bike, I'm now way too scared to really do it now because if I fall off I'm gonna have to deal with another injury forever. I just don't bounce back the same way I used to. My ankles are forever semi-ducked after years and years of soccer and handball racquetball injuries. My hip got ducked up about 5 years back after a bad fall, and none of those were high-speed injuries. So yeah, I think it's a combination of the lighter weight and faster reflexes of youth along with the corresponding ability to mostly heal up from that shit that gave us such a seeming death wish. Living paycheck to paycheck. When you're a kid you sort of see all these adults walking around with all their money and you think to yourself, I can't wait to be that age because I'll have a job. And I can buy whatever I want whenever I want. And then you get to where you wanted to be only to realize, oh shit, I can barely afford to pay for my bills. It's no fun when you realize that your paychecks literally only pay for your bills and food for your table. Any extra money goes to your wife and 3 kids and you get to spend literally zero on yourself. But hey, that's what I get for not finishing college, I guess. Don't worry, I used to be down on myself for not finishing college when I realized half of my co-workers had business, marketing, and biology degrees and we all made the same shit. Meanwhile I have friends in the trades and working in factories making double what I was. Those sad-ass jungle gyms and playgrounds we had in the 70s, as an adult, they look like death traps for little kids. They became death traps to me at the young age of 9. I saw my classmate fall from the top of the monkey bar dome we had and he shattered both arms. His mom was a teacher so she had to feed him lunch at school. The first day was foot-long hot dog day at the cafeteria. No one ever really forgot the image of his mom feeding him 2 foot-longs. Well, that's a new take on an old classic. Losing my job. As a kid, I never had to worry about losing my job at the quarry. Now with all these restrictions in place and not being young anymore, I worry about my future as a miner. Here we see the difference in fears between a miner and a miner. The difference was anything but minor. Debt. The right answer. Death. When I was a child I thought I'd live forever. Now as I get older and older I see family members aging and dying. I've had friends and peers die. I've buried my father. And I think about my own death every day. One of the most fear-inducing things is your brain trying to comprehend yourself not being, like your actual consciousness just not being. Not sleep, Not some darkness, just not there anymore. I go into panic attacks if I even think about it for more than a few minutes. As a result, no scary horror / gore suspense thriller / etc movies, TV, books for me. Most action movies are questionable as well. I can't even watch the news. Gives me nightmares. Sometimes I will wake up in the middle of the night in a total panic, and definitely happens during the day as well. Today appears to be a good day. I am doing fine typing about it. To be fair, it scared me as a kid too. I just thought that only happened to old people. Now I realize you can die at any moment. Back injuries. As a kid, I never worried about getting hurt and how that can affect your life. My dad hurt his back at work one day when I was little, and I don't think he ever fully recovered, physically or mentally. I just remember him suddenly being in bed all the time. Or sometimes he would almost pass out getting out of the car, or he'd yelp doing something small. He had a few surgeries to try and help, but I don't think it made a lot of difference. Then he was unemployed a couple years because of the pain. My brothers and I would need to rub his back or help put icy hot where he injured it. It was just years of watching him suffer. TLDR. Lift with your legs. For the sake of your future, please ducking lift with your legs. I have a herniated disc in my lumbar region. I wish I had strengthened my back as well. Babies. May I add, potential babies. The real answer here. Getting mail that looks like it could be a bill. It's because of this that getting the mail is terrifying. Nothing happy ever comes out of it. Wife and I call the mailbox the bad news box. Hurricanes. Hurricanes were the shit back in the day. You got to stay inside and play video games and watch TV and eat snacks while the world raged dark and stormy outside. Now I just think about how my grandma can evacuate most safely and worry about flood insurance. Wouldn't watching TV or playing video games be impossible without power? The Game Boy EG only needs batteries. My own high expectation on myself. Duck me if I don't graduate with good GPA. Duck me if don't go to grad school. Duck me if I don't get that Swedish scholarship. Duck me if I don't work for that company. Duck me if I can't afford my own house. Duck me if I can't afford my lifestyle. And duck me if I can't start a farm before I retire. That was me until I massively failed. World didn't end and realized I was miserable. Trust me, you're miserable and need to reprioritize your life. The competitive nature of academia and rat race in general is bullshit. It creates so many miserable people from my own experience. You're suffering from the grass is greener on the other side syndrome. I don't know why, but before I was 17 I was so chill when anyone drove a car and I was the passenger. I got my license when I was 18. I'm 26 now and everyone is a scary ducking driver to me if I sit in the passenger seat. My mother being the worst. Time. Responsibility. Kid me woo. People respect me and can rely on me. Adult me ugh. I have too much shit to do. American presidents. I was a child during the Reagan years and I just assumed he was great and looking out for us. Same for GHWB. Then Clinton gave an intern a cigar, but I still figured he had our best interests at heart even if he had kitten on the mind. When Clinton left, the shitstorm started, or I became aware of it, and now I find American presidents terrifying. The whole two-party system is worthless anyway. It effectively puts our entire country's future into the hands of the 5% of people who haven't made up their mind until the day of the election. The rest of us are just bickering for no good reason. Dying. Honestly, it's not being dead that scares me, it's the process. I have a lot of anxiety about the idea of dying young and leaving my kids without a dad, and wife without a husband. I can just never seem to shake the fear. How quickly I can spend $800 and not see any self-benefit. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.